growing up? Would you say you were hard on yourself or?
Yeah, for sure. I think, especially as a kid, when you're trying to fit in or trying to figure out what you are, like, am I cool like that? Or do I want to be hanging with these people? Or what do they think of me? Or, oh man, it's this girl, does she really like me? Or, am I cool enough for it? Like all of those things that most kids go through, you get it. But I think I did do it a little bit more, and maybe because isolation. And I think when you're alone a lot, you contemplate.
Yes.
And when you have a lot of time to contemplate, sometimes it's not good.
Yeah.
And so that's when I said, like, if I had brothers and sisters, I wouldn't have to worry about certain things.
Yes.
With social anxiety disorder, like I was diagnosed years ago, and hypersensitivity. Like with that kind of thing, isolation is not good, but I feel most comfortable being isolated. So I spend 95% of my time by myself.
Yes.
And that gives you time to analyze.
Yeah.
And the brain loves to find problems.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not there.
Absolutely.
And so the judgmental kind of analyzing is kind of run amok.
Yeah.
So you have to find ways to break out of that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And but the other side of it is, it's that same hypersensitivity that makes you a great artist. It's like
my therapist said the same thing.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's a balance. It's like, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It's harder to be in the world, but that's the gift. And I know.
There have been times where I was like, I've prayed to a God that I didn't even know it existed, really.
Yes.
Prayed like, I would rather you take this away from me.
Yes.
All of this.
And just
if I could just feel normal
like that.
If I could just feel normal, like take voice, career, all that shit, you can have it.
Yes.
If I could feel normal.
Yes.
But it don't work like that.
No.
It just don't.
It's really sad, but that's why a lot of artists OD. That's why young artists die from drugs, is they're sensitive people. There's especially in success, there's all this emotion that no one teaches us how to deal with.
No.
And it's weird. Even people that you know for a long time start acting different to you.
Yes. And you start acting different because they start acting different.
It's weird.
It's a bad thing.
The whole thing's unnatural. No one teaches you how to deal with it. And it's crazy. It's a crazy making process.
Yes.
And
yes.
And so people do stuff to try to just numb that pain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. It's self-medication. It's like, I just don't want to feel everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Well, we're alike in many ways.
Yeah. And even a lot of people in the world too, I'm finding, it's, I think we do get it differently because of the career we've chosen or that chose us, but when researching, this condition, there are kids that have it.
Yeah.
There are kids that just don't know how to deal in the world.
Yes.
In that way,
Yes.
And I think
especially if your parents aren't as sensitive as you are, then it's really confusing. Because it's like, they're the adults. They're supposed to know everything.
Yeah.
And they don't even see this stuff that's happening.
Yeah. And you can't explain it.
No, they don't. They're just like, oh, why are you thinking about that?
And then, I'm talking about in the last 15, 20 years. We just now starting to get titles for this stuff.
Yeah.
Names that you call it.
Yeah.
What about the people that didn't have the names for it back then? Or didn't have medicine for it?
Absolutely.
What do you do?
Yeah.
You can't sit and have a conversation. Yeah, there's a social anxiety thing. What?
Yeah.
That wasn't even invented.
Yeah.
When we first started rapping, none of those words were out. Now bipolarism and, all that kind of stuff is like, it's almost like commonplace now.
Yeah.
If someone says I have anxiety, it's like, oh, okay, just go take a nap. That's kind of what it's like now, because it's so common.
Yeah.
But it's
and it may have always been, just no one knew. It was
right.
like you say, and people didn't want to look at it or talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now people are more open, luckily, because it's helpful to others feeling it. We're not alone.
Yep.
It's so helpful to know that I'm not the only person who feels this way all the time.
Yeah. It doesn't make it easier.
No.
But
it is a little better. It's a little,
it's just to be understood. It's better.
Feel less alone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's another thing a friend of mine pointed out, that when we talk about isolation, in certain societies, they don't have these things.
Mm-mm.
Like when you're like, if it's not a chemical thing, if it's a social thing, like if you're in a house with 10 other people, your family, and you're all surviving, you don't have time to have that.
Yes.
And you're faced with these people.
Yes.
So you don't have a kind of like this social kind of dwarfing. And that's interesting to me,
Absolutely. And also the success part of it is a key piece of it too, because when you suffer from depression, let's say, and you feel like there's this hole in you, you don't know what it is. You just know you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you have this dream. Well, I'm gonna through music, I see these people doing this and I love this.
Yeah.
And when I do that, the hole's gonna go away.
Yeah. Oh no.
But at least during that time, you have hope, because I'm gonna work really hard because I want to feel better than I feel now. And you do all this work, and that hole is the thing that allows you to have that drive and perspective to break through.
Yeah.
And then you break through and your dreams come true and the hole is exactly the same.
Yes.
And then you're hopeless.
And actually it opens up a little bit more.
Absolutely. Because now, what I was spending all my time my way of solving it, I did it and it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
If anything, as you said, maybe it's worse. I can remember, it's funny, and I'll only remember this because there happened to be a phone call. If it wasn't for this phone call, I would not remember this story. But I had produced the first Beastie Boys album. Mm-hmm. It came out and it became the number one album in the country. And I remember my music lawyer calling me and he said, "You have the number one album in the country. How do you feel?" And I said, "I've never felt worse in my whole life."
Yeah, man.
And had that call not happened, I wouldn't remember how I felt.
Yeah.
But in that moment, because of the call, that's how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And people would think that that's the best thing.
Yeah.
Or the best thing to hear.
But it has nothing to do with it. It's like, that's the other thing, is like, it's like a false, until it happens, you don't know, because we're hopeful, something's going to make it better. If a dream comes true, that's going to make it better. Nope.
Or just to get the acceptance. You think like you will get love. You know what I mean? But you will also get everything else that comes with it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. In a way, in success, it's more isolating.
Oh, very.
And more lonely making and less community. And like we said, people treat you differently. And it's hard to have regular conversation. Not because you don't want to. It's like the whole world has changed.
It's a bad plight.
Yeah.
The more higher you climb, the more success that you have, you become more and more isolated. Yeah. You spend more times in hotels.
Yeah.
You spend less time around people.
Yes.
And your writing kind of goes to shit too.
Yeah.
When that starts to happen too.
Because your life becomes about being on tour, which is not really interesting to talk about.
Yeah. And no one wants to hear like, I'm sad, because I'm successful. I don't want to hear that shit.
No. Or back on the road again. Like there's all those records. Yeah. Being on the bands who just would tour forever, and all the songs were about being on the road because that's all I had to talk about.
Yeah, and I don't like it, man. So, I try to do things, and I really get enjoyment. Like, I don't have bodyguards, man. I'm an only child, so I go everywhere by myself. actually love to go to the laundromat and wash clothes. Like I love that, man. Like I love being in the most normal place I can be.
Yeah.
You know, because even if it's, I mean, I could buy a washer and dryer and wash at home.
Yeah.
But it's something about going to the laundromat and sitting there.
It's social.
Yeah.
It is social.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's something about it.
Absolutely.
There's some, I don't know, you may know it. There's some blues artist that I think he wrote a lyric that the song kind of story went that he'd gotten successful. And now he's going to have to hire a woman to break his heart to be able to write blues songs. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and that's a weird place to be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I love new artists. That's why I love going to these shit clubs and watching bands, because I remember that feeling. Like, and I know what it feels like to not be known.
Yes.
And when you're fighting to be known.
Yes.
And when you're doing it because you just love it.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Absolutely.
And I like that energy.
It's not, nobody at those clubs are punching the clock, trying to get it done.
They got to get up in the morning and go to their real work.
Yeah. And when you think about it, when that cycle of being on the road all the time, when that turns into a job, it's a grueling job.
Yeah.
It is especially all the travel, flying. It's exhausting. It's lonely. And all of it is for this, like, an hour or two at night. And it's kind of exciting because people like it. But even that, when you've done the same thing for a while, starts feeling like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I did this last night.
Yep. I knew it became a problem for me like years ago. I mean, this had to be like 15, 20 years ago. I was on stage doing some song. I don't remember what it was, but I'd done it so much that it was kind of just in my skin, and I'm, going through it, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about, what am I going to eat tonight?
Yeah.
Get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And that thought, it freaked me out.
Absolutely.
Because it was like I was on overdrive.
Yeah.
But I was somewhere else.
Yeah. Autopilot.
Yeah.
It was just going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that point, I think you just, as the artist, I mean, of course you have responsibilities you got to do, but you got to find a way to shake yourself up. You got to find a way to change it.
Absolutely.
And I hadn't toured in ages, man. Like, and I said, if I ever were to get on stage again in that kind of way, like it would be in the shittiest clubs ever.
Yeah.
It would be like I want to perform at all the flea markets around the world.
Great.
You know what I mean? Like,
great.
Yeah, like it just to feel something different.
Yeah.
Another thing too, the more success you have too, seems like the further the crowd gets from you.
Absolutely.
So by the time you get to festivals,
yeah,
they are 20 feet back.
Yeah.
You can't even touch nobody.
No, and you can't, and you can't like even see really faces, lights on you.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like a mass of people. It's like they talk about that. It's like if one person gets in an accident or gets killed, you really feel it because of the personality of the person. But when you read, that 10,000 people just died because of an earthquake, it's a different, because it becomes faceless. The more people, the more faceless it becomes. And you don't have that connection.
Yeah. It's not that one person in the front row.
Yeah. You're excited. You see their excitement.
Yeah. So it's going, you
feels
going.
Good.
Yeah. That exchange. Yeah.